RJD appeases.
तेजस्वी यादव कह रहे थे कि भारत की संसद में पारित कानून वक्फ संशोधन को कूड़ेदान में डाल देंगे। मौलाना तेजस्वी यादव जी, ये बताइए हमें, आप संविधान कभी पढ़े हैं?
BJP's jibe, Maulana Tejashwi against Constitution. RJD WAQF Act promise stirs tensions in Bihar.
बिल को, इस कानून को बिहार राज्य जो है कूड़े के दान में फेंकने का काम करेगा।
Polls on communal polarization, not progress. That is our top focus. On to the point. That is our top focus. On to the point.
So here's November likely, and barely months ahead of polls, polarization has hit the ground. And how? In the latest this morning, Bharatiya Janata Party's Gaurav Bhatia has sharpened attack at the RJD and specifically at Tejashwi Yadav. Picking from what the former Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar said on the stage, that the Waqf Act will be thrown into the dustbin. BJP says this is Shariawad versus Samvidhanwad. Then the attack turns personal. BJP's Gaurav Bhatia said, ninth fail Maulana Tejashwi has not even read the Constitution. The Constitution debate that, remember, was basically started by Rahul Gandhi flaunting the book and the Mahagathbandhan against the BJP is now being turned on its head by this double-engine Sarkar. The question is, will this be now the Bihar discourse here on? Will the elections for the 243-seat assembly be fought on not development, not progress, not welfare for all, but on communal polarization? Listen in first to our leaders. What did Tejashwi Yadav say that led to a full-blown attack by the Bharatiya Janata Party?
इस बिल को, इस कानून को बिहार राज्य जो है कूड़े के दान में फेंकने का काम करेगा। बिहार में किसी भी कीमत पे इस कानून को हम लोग लागू नहीं होने देंगे।
जिस तरह से कल 9वीं फेल पूर्व उप मुख्यमंत्री, नेता प्रतिपक्ष तेजस्वी यादव कह रहे थे कि भारत की संसद में पारित कानून वक्फ संशोधन को कूड़ेदान में डाल देंगे। नमाजवादी तुष्टीकरण करने के मसीहा मौलाना तेजस्वी यादव जी, ये बताइए हमें, आप संविधान कभी पढ़े हैं?
ये तथाकथित उसी नमाजवाद से आए हुए हैं, उसी स्कूल की ट्रेनिंग है। खैर, तेजस्वी यादव ने बड़ी लंबी लकीर खींची है। इन व्यक्ति विशेष को पता नहीं है नौकरी आपके नेता की जुबान से, जो बड़े वाले हैं ना, उनकी जुबान से भी नहीं निकलता।
So remember, these are the leaders of the RJD, of the BJP and other parties, of course, joining in because there are alliances as well. Let's then debate and discuss what does this mean. On the panel this evening, Tuhin Sinha, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Shyam Kumar, Spokesperson from the RJD. Amitabh Tiwari joins us, political strategist and commentator, to talk about numbers. Why are these leaders making the kind of remarks that they are? And also to add on and corroborate that further, Sanjay Kumar, Co-Director Lokniti CSDS and cephalogist as well. I want to start with the BJP because this has now been escalated by the ruling party of the country. Tuhin, you tell me, your party, which was the double-engine Sarkar in Bihar and at the centre, has been about vikas and progress, saying that we have been able to make a lot of difference in the past few years. Then why bring in this whole argument of namazwadi, Shariawad? Why not stay with development-based agendas to return to the government? Does the BJP feel communal polarization is their final card?
Well, good evening, Pooja. Good evening, everybody. You know, we have always been with Vikas and we continue to be with Vikas. The 14% GDP rise in Bihar in the previous year, the massive infrastructure development across Bihar, and the improved law and order situation are the core issues for us. But Tejashwi Yadav's comments are problematic at many levels, and that cannot be, those comments cannot be ignored. Number one, they reveal the constitutional ignorance and illiteracy of RJD and the Congress party. A bill which has been passed by both houses of parliament and which has become a law can only be stopped by a judicial process. And at least for a bill, for a subject which lies in the central list, Tejashwi Yadav does not have the right to throw it in the dustbin. Number two, it reveals the hypocrisy of these two parties, the Congress party and RJD. If you recall, in 1985, they had gone back on the decision of Supreme Court insofar as the Shah Bano case was concerned. Then they used the parliament to overturn a judgment passed by the Supreme Court. Here, they just want to do the opposite. But most importantly, if you recall, Mamata Banerjee had indulged in similar antics immediately after the passage of this bill. And what happened? What followed were Murshidabad riots, very pointed anti-Hindu riots in Murshidabad. We believe that is what Tejashwi Yadav is trying to instigate in Bihar, particularly in the areas of Simanchal. And finally, the sense of entitlement, perverse entitlement he comes with, the language that he has used, ये देश किसी की बाप का नहीं है, तो क्या बिहार आपके बाबूजी का है? किस अधिकार से, किस कानून से आप कूड़े में फेंकने की बात कर रहे हैं? I think these are very serious questions.
Fair enough. Let's take that to the RJD. Dr. Shyam Kumar, your party, your leader basically started it. How can you change an act that has been passed and cleared by the centre in the parliament as well? And why are you even making that promise? Promise welfare, promise jobs, promise employment. That's what the BJP had said that they have been able to successfully bring in. BJP says you are appeasing one section, one community. That is your vote bank.
No. I tell you very frankly, with regard to the working democracy, there is nothing sacrosanct in democracy. I hope you know it quite well, and my friends from BJP also knows. And we have already filed petition on the Supreme Court. I hope you people are quite aware. Many petitions have been already filed. So we are fighting the legal battle. And in coming days, we will also fight political battle democratically. So kind of wait for some time. Time will, give us answer what kind of law they have brought to undermine the autonomy of certain communities, such as to fuel the polarization. So these are certain fundamental questions. So we are fighting in this direction. With regard to how we will change, there are two ways. Politically, we will raise certain fundamental questions how the parties in power who are working to divide, polarize, making the citizen a second-grade citizen, the community's sentiment. So these are not fundamental questions. So we are fighting for the person who is standing at the last. People
BJP says you are instigating violence. There could be riots with what the statement that has been made by Tejashwi Yadav.
Nothing like that. Don't give any misinterpretation. A constitution is a supreme for all us. Baba Sahib is, his ideology is a, great source of inspiration for us. So we are working, whatever we will do as per what Baba Sahib taught us. Baba Sahib gave us such a great constitution. Through the democratic process, we will change amicable in society. We want to build, such a society that is a democratic.
Tuhin, Baba Sahib has been brought in here saying we have to have the equal society that Baba Sahib, Dr. Bihar Ambedkar wanted.
They have once again revealed their ignorance in Baba Sahib's constitution. The provision for Waqf was not there. It was introduced by Nehru in 1953. Besides, two very spurious legislations of 1995, specifically Clause 40 of 1995, which gave unbridled powers to the Waqf board to claim any property as their own. That has been undone. The spurious legislations of 1995 and 2013 have been undone. We stand, it has nothing to do with any community. We stand for transparency. And mind you, the allegations of land loot from the Waqf, who are the leaders accused? All of them are from the Congress party. So Congress
Dr.
party
Shyam Kumar, Dr. Shyam Kumar, we will put that image. Gaurav Bhatia has brought that again this morning, that you're talking about B.R. Ambedkar, but that image of B.R. Ambedkar allegedly at the feet of Lalu Prasad Yadav, that he doesn't care. Do you want to say something about it? Because that is also something that the BJP is bringing back in. Then I'll go to other panelists.
No, actually, that is an unnecessary discussion and debate on the Baba Sahib. Everybody knows in Bihar, in India, we are the follower of Baba Sahib. We are working in the direction what Baba Sahib thought of, whatever he has said, the discourse for democracy. And these people who has come just their love and affection for Baba Sahib is just electoral, I tell you. So they are making that wise only for the this election is approaching, nothing else.
Only election issue. No concern to the RJD that that image Gaurav Bhatia is flaunting will become a concern.
We respect Baba Sahib. Baba Sahib is our father. He has made everything. He has given everything for all of us, everyone in this country, in the world. So what sense they are talking? This is a kind of the moral confidence they have. This is utter surprising for all of us that they are talking about Baba Sahib. They don't have any moral courage to...
Okay, let's then go to other panelists as well. I want to bring in Sanjay Kumar here. When I look at the numbers, and because this has been about communal polarization and Waqf Act, that's why I'm bringing this in, and we'll put out that data as well. Clearly, members of the Muslim community have contributed well to RJD success over the years. RJD realizes it has been a strong component of their success. 23% vote share was for them in 2020, but I also interestingly see that for the BJP, the vote share from the Muslim community was 25% in 2015, though it dipped to 19% in 2020. Do you feel, as we look at some of these numbers and the surveys that are being done, that RJD realizes that this is their best bet? The BJP, meanwhile, alleges this is appeasement on religious issues.
There's no doubt that for RJD, Muslim vote is crucial. Muslims are in sizable number. If we look at the Bihar electorate, roughly in the range of 18 to 19%. If you look at historically the data about how Muslims have been voting, Muslims have voted for RJD, in favor of RJD in a very large number.
Correct.
So we have been talking about RJD as a party, MY. Core support of RJD is MY, comes from Muslims and the Yadavs.
Yeah.
So while it is important for RJD to mobilize votes for other caste community in order to be in a strong electoral race, but I think that's the core. MY factor is the core of RJD, and that is why it is so important for them to try and retain the Muslim vote, try and retain the Muslim vote to the extent that Muslims have been voting in favor of the party.
And do you think that that is the confidence that they have in this elections as well? Or do you think that there will be other agendas that could come in? Do you believe that you see the communal polarization in the days to come over these similar issues in Bihar elections?
No, in an election, there will be other issues. I'm not saying that the entire election will be contested only on the communal issues.
Correct.
But yes, this is going to be one of the key issues. Polarization in a sense. Try and mobilize your core supporters. Try and keep your core supporters with you. So that's going to be the core issue in this election. I don't think they're too worried about the Muslim vote, but there is some anxiety.
Why do you think that?
Because they would recollect what happened in 2020 assembly election. They lost marginally, and there were few constituencies where AIMIM candidate polled a sizable number of Muslim votes. Some of them managed to win assembly elections as well. This time, there is a new entrant in Bihar politics, Jan Swaraj Party. They are also trying to appease the minorities. They are trying to make inroads among the young voters. And these are young voters, and the minorities form the core support base of RJD. I think these are the few factors why there is some anxiety among the RJD leaders, and they are trying hard to keep the Muslim RJD vote.
Amitabh Tiwari, let's talk about the ground sentiment. If Biharis want development and progress, and it's a crucial state election, 243 seats, why is eventually the political showdown on polarization? Because I think the netas wouldn't make comments if they don't sense what's happening on the ground. Why do you feel, given the numbers previously and now, and the surveys that are coming in, that for the RJD, and as much for the BJP to an extent, this is the trump card to score?
No, see, I mean, electorally, if you see, any strategy is dependent upon charging the core, which is the MY for the RJD or the Mahagathbandhan, and then adding certain vote blocks on top of it, because they need to add an EBC or a Dalit vote on top of it. Now, we have to understand the context. The context is that in 2020, the alliances were equal in vote share. and the difference was only 12,000 votes. Now, out of 18% Muslim vote, 13% went to the Mahagathbandhan, 1% to the NDA, and 4% to others, which were primarily AIMIM and other parties. If you see Purnia administrative division, where the Muslim population is highest, 46%, there are 24 seats. The Mahagathbandhan could will only 7. AIMIM won 5, and the BJP-led Gathbandhan or alliance 12 seats. Of the 32 Muslim influence seats, where the population is more than 30%, the Mahagathbandhan won only 8 out of 32. 18 seats were won by the NDA. So this is the context. So it is very, very important for the Mahagathbandhan, especially at a time when Chirag Paswan's party is joining the NDA and bringing 5 to 6% vote share, that they need to consolidate this vote bank. They got only 75%. But this could go up to 85-90% as we have seen in the Lok Sabha election. And it's an emotional issue. The Waqf bill is an emotional issue. See, whether it is constitutionally possible or not possible is not very relevant to the voter. What is relevant to the voter is that a party
is being said.
Which backs or supports the community or is seeking votes from the community is at least
Even if that may not happen,
its position.
even if they may not happen, at least in the near future.
See, even in caste census, when the reservation is being, or the caste survey is being done in states, and when the reservation is being increased from 50 to 65 in Bihar, or the Maratha reservation is increased,
Yes.
everybody knows that the courts are going to turn it down. Because
Correct.
ultimately the change has to be made in the ninth schedule of the constitution, or the 10th schedule perhaps. But it is the intent which the voter sees, or the vote bloc sees, that at least this party which is championing our rights is at least saying that it will do it. It may or may not be possible. That is another matter. And it's an emotional issue. So that's what the
polls are about promises as much, even if not polarization, but this time it's polarizing promises that are being made. Tuhin, I want to bring you in. When Gaurav Bhatia this morning said this is communal politics being done by the RJD to appease one section, BJP is the one defending provision, RJD is pursuing Sharia politics. But what language was this against Tejashwi Yadav? Ninth fail, Maulana, you're a national party and as a double-engine sarkar, and you've said that objecting to what Tejashwi is saying, do you think such kind of language should be a part of our discourse to him? And this is, I want to add here, this is from what some of our PSC numbers that have come in, shows Tejashwi Yadav could actually be a front runner. There is popularity increasing for the former Deputy CM.
As far as Tejashwi Yadav's education is concerned, I don't think what Gauravji said was against the facts. So if Gauravji has passed Standard 9, or if he is highly educated, he can make a claim. But the point is, there are times when certain words are used in reaction to the words used by, and we are appalled by the words used by Tejashwi Yadav. The bill, mind you, has been passed by both houses of parliament. Similarly, they had reservations about CAA, they had reservations about abrogation of Article 370. Even the abrogation of, in the case of abrogation of Article 370, the case in Supreme Court went on for a good 4 years. But eventually, the ruling was in favor of the central government. But when you use this language that baat kisi ke desh ki nahi hai, sometimes such crass, sometimes such vulgar, insinuation gets a reaction. But I think, there are things beyond the language. I think it is the overall sense of perverse entitlement which both RJD and the Congress party come with. And I think the Congress party
Is the BJP
needs
concerned?
to realize...
What if RJD's government tenure returns to Bihar? What happens to the BJP then?
Well, as far as the bill is concerned, it won't make any difference whatsoever, because like
what
I mentioned,
if RJD
it's
political survival of the BJP. If the RJD and Lalu Prasad Yadav, Tejashwi Yadav, the Yadav tenure
RJD will not come to Bihar, because still the ghosts of Jungle Raj have not been exorcised. If you recall, in all the 3 or 4 instances when they have managed to be in power with Nitish Kumarji, primarily people trusted Nitish Kumar. They did not trust RJD independently, because the ghosts of Jungle Raj, and I have personally witnessed that growing up in the undivided Bihar of 1990s. I have grown up in Jamshedpur. I have seen those days, and people can never forget that when the family members of Lalu Yadav were personally involved in intimidating and threatening people. So Jungle Raj is not going to come back, and people
Dr.
want a
Shyam
vision
Kumar,
for the state.
I take that to you from our PSC that the kind of data it may show that Tejashwi Yadav is rising in popularity. There could be an anti-incumbency factor, but like the BJP says, Jungle Raj allegation that's coming in, that there were serious issues of law and order during the Lalu Prasad Yadav tenure, and people will not vote for that to return to Bihar, even though there may be issues at present.
No, I just would like to tell you a very simple point.
Yes.
What is a pathetic condition of Bihar, law and order, we are well aware. I don't want to discuss anything. Everybody is, who is, watching this show, or maybe they are aware of the facts and data of crime rates in Bihar. That is a sharp rise in every kind of crimes. People will reply in just few months later, I tell you. I hope you will organize some more program on that.
Sure,
Definitely,
of course.
I definitely be there. So there is not much to debate. If you want to discuss the history, we are open to discuss everything. But you know that the question comes from the who is the ruling parties. There is a double engine sarkar, and I would like to just call you in the every data that it is a double engine failed sarkar. That every parameter on the development, where does Bihar ranks? When Tejashwi Yadav ji come with the Nitish Kumar ji, then there was a survey of social and economic of every kind. 4 lakh people. What the kind of data came over.
But Tejashwi was also in the government. That's what I'm saying. He was in the government with Nitish as well.
Let me clarify.
Some improvement
94 lakh people were the poor in Bihar in the 2022 when Nitish Kumar ji with the alliance of BJP is ruling Bihar for the last more than 2 decades. Let me tell you. Let me finish, please. Very quick response. Please take my response.
Sure.
So in last 20 years, what is happening? People of Bihar are well aware, and with regard to that educational qualification, if you want to discuss the educational qualification of the leaders, we can discuss in some other debate that what is the parties, that kind of controversy, kind of discussion of the leaders of
the... I have to interrupt you there because your leader has spoken up. That's the big news coming in. Tejashwi Yadav hitting back at the Bharatiya Janata Party. Stay on with me, Shyam Kumar. Tejashwi has responded to the Maulana comment by the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I want the viewer to listen in. What has Tejashwi Yadav said? He said, it's a compliment. Calling me a Maulana is a compliment because that means a scholar. Let's listen in to the leader of opposition in the Bihar Assembly, former Deputy CM.
भाजपा के लोग 2 दिन से हमको दिल्ली में बैठ के गाली दे रहे हैं. लोग बोल ना रहा है क्या बोल.
Our political panelists, then I'll go to our other experts as well. What do you say to that now, Tohin Sinha, when Tejashwi Yadav says it's good, it's a compliment, it means I'm a scholar?
Well, Tejashwi Yadav's words are not surprising. This is a party which at one point of time was very brazen that, it wanted to restrict itself to 2 communities, which is MY. And at one point of time, it used to instigate people with slogans like Bhura Bal Saaf Karo. I don't want to mention the 4 communities which were targeted by this particular slogan, but this is an outright casteist party. This is an outright communal party. And I think Tejashwi Yadav's statements have only re-established the communal credentials of RJD.
Dr. Shyam Kumar, do you think this is defiance, resilience, desperation? How do we look at this response? But he's also added some words that I don't know if he should have said that, and we'll play out that reaction in just a short while again. How do we look at this statement? Yes, go ahead, Dr. Shyam Kumar.
I would like to just add a very simple point.
Yes.
We are largest party even today. Even today.
Largest party in Bihar.
Largest parties in Bihar even today. In the kind of all the leaders from every party was coming, working for them, campaigning for them, addressing every issue. We are largest in number. Secondly, what he is talking, the problem, why the problem is rising every day? Because the kind of the popularity which Tejashwi Yadav is gaining, and just the momentum is becoming in the favor of the RJD and Mahagathbandhan alliance. So that is a real problem, I tell you. The kind of the climate, kind of the statement was coming on the person holding a constitutional position. it is utter surprise.
You
And
objected
it's
to the
not utter
BJP
surprise for
statement,
many
Dr.
people,
Shyam
because
Kumar,
they
but
have-
yes, Tejashwi saying tapori, ये वो tapori है. And basically, of course, tapori, it means roadside, so to say. Is this okay in response? How do you then justify your behavior if you are accusing the BJP of the same?
I would like to just the kind of the problem that is rising for the couple of days. And even previous because of the kind of the popularity momentum that is gaining in the favor of Mahagathbandhan. This government is just taking farewell in the just few months later. So that kind of the problem is rising. Also, they are speaking anything anyway. That is a real issue. If you go and find from the fact from the ground, this is a real problem. And they are talking about us of everything. We are far better. People, are going to give their mandate. We were the largest in number, my dear friend from BJP. You have so many, parties alliance there. How many number of the, respected honorable Nitish Kumar?
Amitabh Tiwari,
What kind of the condition
yes.
you people have made?
You heard what Tejashwi said and clearly about how the discourse is becoming among the netas in Bihar. But let's talk about Tejashwi. It's not about Lalu Prasad Yadav. That's more like a forgotten era. If not forgotten, it's mentioned as a jungle Raj. But do you think Tejashwi Yadav, as the next generation of the RJD, is either giving a tough fight? Yeah, is either giving a tough fight or at least becoming the face, and he realizes it, that to counter the BJP JDU, he's becoming a face. Will that work for the RJD? Are people of Bihar ready for a young leader like Tejashwi, even with these comments that are coming in?
So clearly he has emerged as the fulcrum of the opposition. And we've seen in your surveys, sea voter surveys also, that he's leading as the chief minister.
Let's put that out. Let's put out the numbers.
However,
of the survey. Yes.
in terms of cricket analogy, Tejashwi is the captain of Mahagathbandhan, a strong player in good form, but the vice captain, which is the Congress, is in poor form. On the opposite side, you have NDA, the captain is Nitish Kumar in poor form, but you have the vice captain and other players like the BJP and Chirag who are in good form. So essentially, it is the 17%. I mean, we have been also putting a lot of numbers. There are undecided voters roughly in Bihar at this stage. Tejashwi also has been able to consolidate the youth vote because it is linked to unemployment, because this youth 18 to 25 has not seen the jungle Raj. So that topic does not fairly resonate with this. And it's also somehow taken the credit of this 4 to 5 lakh jobs created during the period when he was the deputy chief minister and Nitish Kumar had switched over to the Mahagathbandhan. So now the question is whether they need a vote block, which is EBC or Dalit, and or also to
Sanjay Kumar, yes.
It will be very difficult to win.
Sanjay, I want to understand here, from years of experience tracking these elections, especially in a state like Bihar, because I have to add, I have reported extensively from the state of Bihar, and I understand that the local resident is extremely politically well aware. The youth especially go to any village in Bihar, they know their leaders, they know the issues. However, at this juncture in 2025, when there was a focus on that Bihar needs development, that Bihar needs change, do you think the focus will again be communal polarization, including caste issues, reservation, Waqf bill, and also the kind of impact you think a Jan Swaraj party or Prashant Kishore can make? Who will Prashant Kishore really impact? Will it be to the NDA or the Mahagathbandhan? So a compilation of questions there for you.
Yes, there are many questions in this question. First, I don't think that this is going to be the only issue in these elections. As we come closer to the day of election, there will be many more issues which will come into the forefront. This is an issue much in advance before the election, even the elections have been announced. So I really don't think that this is going to be the only issue in these elections. The issues of unemployment, migration, those things are also going to come into play when elections take the set, when we come closer to the day of election. Prashant Kishore, there is a lot of noise his party is making. Prashant Kishore himself is making a lot of noise. Young voters are rallying behind Prashant Kishore. He's also trying to make inroads among or dent the Muslim vote. Whatever vote he's going to poll, I think the bigger damage he's going to do is to the India Gathbandhan, not to the NDA. While it's not that he will be damaging only India Alliance and not the NDA, but I think the bigger damage would be to to the India alliance, not to the NDA. That's my assessment at this moment. We are still 3 months away from election, but as we come closer to the days of election, these assessment will change because maybe the nature of campaign and the nature of politics will also change in the coming months.
Tuhin Sinha, your party are Tapori leaders and any worker also of RJD is enough to counter you. And the promises being made by the RJD is the reason that possibly the Mahagathbandhan will return. What do you say to what Tejashwi Yadav is saying and the RJD strategy? Because eventually, Shyam Kumar is correct. RJD still has a very strong hold when it comes to a certain section. Whether it's the Muslim or the Yadav vote or the underprivileged groups, you call it Jungle Raj. But there are people who believe RJD is their savior.
Well, this delusional behavior of RJD suits us. You know, in the last elections, Nitish Kumar's party had used a line, "Ab kahe kare vichar, theek hai to hai Nitish Kumar," which essentially means that Bihar has got used to Nitish Kumar ji. Bihar is happy with the development which the state has witnessed since 2005. Of course, there were a couple of years when Nitish ji was not in power. But fact is that overall development has been so humongous. Imagine a 14.5% GDP growth. Imagine seamless road connectivity across Bihar. Imagine 20 hours of electricity during the day. All of these would not have been possible with an RJD government. This is something which people realize, and that is what puts us ahead.
Dr. Shyam Kumar, I want to pick up one issue. Would it be correct to say that you're making promises which wouldn't really be fulfilled? When RJD leader Tejashwi Yadav said 100% domicile policy will give jobs only to people from Bihar primarily, in a country like India where migration is such an important issue, do you think this is a fair policy? Can this be implemented? How will that impact the development and the infrastructure projects coming in from other states as well? And then you promise the Waqf Act to be thrown in the dustbin. Are these false promises? Or are these promises that you feel can be fulfilled, and how?
See, I tell you very frankly, we are the party who do not, give the, in a vacuum. We do not show the picture of golden picture. We deliver governance. When you remember, when Tejashwi Yadav was a deputy chief minister, the lakhs of job, 5 lakh job he has given the young, school teacher and many other related jobs. That he is a man of action. His man is not, simply does not believe in some programs. He believes in the action, delivery, governance. And when he, joined with this, Nitish Kumar, when he, as a deputy chief minister, what kind of revolution he did? All kind of surveys have been conducted without data. Can you do anything? The first he tried to bring the data, what are the core issues of Bihar? So he delivered. And then 94 lakh people we came to know these are the poor fellows. We have to work in concrete, not giving 5 kilo ration. We will give for job. They will deliver 5 kilo ration to the other people, I tell you. We are the socialists. We are the real socialists. What, kind of the vision.
But you have been in the government earlier. How much of change really came? Law and order is still a big issue, even though Tuhin Sinha says possibly people have short memory. They may not remember. But those who do will constantly raise the Jungle Raj issue.
No, I tell you, please take,
Go ahead.
One thing I would like to make you very much clear. This is your media perspective. You can have it. But this was a social justice sarkar in Bihar. From 1990s to 2005, the kind of the social building, social change that was brought at that point of time, I think you people have to also look at it. I think you will not speak the same language what BJP and JDU is speaking.
You want to elaborate on that? Because I'll take that question to Tuhin. Social justice upliftment means what?
Yeah, I would like to elaborate. That 15 years, RJD and Janata Dal was in power. People have given that such a huge mandate in a vacuum. At that time, at that point of time, the election commission, TN Session was an election commissioner. Everyone knows about TN Session. In that perspective, we have got the mandate to rule. That means it was a people government. At the social justice, what he delivers, voice. In the democracy, you understand the voice. Right to speak. Today you can speak. what will happen, what is happening on the ground, you are well aware. I don't want to speak at that, line, but at that point of time in the Bihar and the leadership of our leader Lalu Prasad Yadav, the big change, that was a social change. People do not have right to even speak.
Final comment to him before I wrap it up with Amitabh Tiwari as well.
Well,
but
it doesn't.
But you keep saying Jungle Raj. What he's saying is also important in the sense, because I've reported from Lalu Prasad Yadav's rallies, when he spoke, he definitely catered to an audience and told them, for example, on reservations, that these parties want to take away our reservations. And you could see the sense of anxiety, the fear that was felt. Now, we can debate on what stand that is. However, RJD has catered to a group to make them believe if they go, there is going to be mayhem against them.
You may argue that people will not remember, the younger generation will not remember Jungle Raj, but will they also not remember the corrupt practices of the RJD? Will they not remember that Lalu Yadav ji is a convicted criminal? He's out on bail. Will they not remember that this is a party where the entire family is facing very grave charges in the land for job
Tejashwi is leading it. Tejashwi is the big face now.
No. So the point is, the loot and corruption have been a culture of the RJD. Tejashwi Yadav has not been in government so much, barring a couple of years. Give him 5 years, he will also loot. The legacy of loot, the legacy of corruption of RJD has been so grave. There are many instances. If for a moment, if I can buy your argument, even if I buy your argument that the younger generation may not remember Jungle Raj, they will remember the spate of corruption charges against the entire family, and they will be very apprehensive giving Bihar in the hands of a family that will loot the state all over again.
So I want you to have the final comment based on data, surveys, experience, expertise, and that is 2 to 3 months away from elections. Do you believe that this showdown is only going to get sharper and, must I say, uglier as well in the kind of words that are being spoken? Do you believe the issues will be of welfare, jobs, opportunities, welfare, development of Bihar that it so desperately needs? Or perhaps it will be back to the kind of discourse we are hearing?
Essentially,
go ahead.
Essentially, it is going to be a closer election. At 2020, we saw it was a tie. Even in 2024 Lok Sabha election, if you see, and the Social Justice Party you mentioned, NDA's tally declined from 39 to 30 and MPs from 1 to 10. So that seems to have worked. What is going to happen is that there is a myriad of factors and issues which will play out: caste, religion, development, unemployment, price rise, etc., etc. And largely, it is going to be a seat-by-seat contest, correct? Because a lot has happened under Nitish Kumar's rule. But if you see, Tuhin Shenaji is mentioning about corruption. In 2010, RJD had 20 seats. After Lalu ji was convicted, in 2020, the party became the single largest party in Bihar. So it shows that this is not an issue which is resonating, at least with his core voters and supporters.
Interesting.
What has happened in Bihar? But still, I'll just give you one data point. In 2005, when Rabdi ji left as CM, Bihar's per capita income was 1/3 of national average. Even today, it is 1/3 of national average. So somehow this Nitish model of development versus Lalu's model of development, we are going to see this again and again resonating across the next 3 to 4 months. Social justice versus economic development, and whether there is Jungle Raj or whether the law and order has deteriorated under Nitish Kumar's rule, because RJD has upped the ante now on the law and order, if you see, over the past 3-4 months.
So law and order during the Lalu Prasad Yadav time or law and order this time under the NDA Sarkar, eventually, can we have a better discourse that's more healthy, appropriate in chosen words? That, well, most of us know is only going to turn sharper and ugly in the days to come. However, it's a crucial state, important state for the country, and we hope important issues will be addressed by our netas with their promises. Thank you very much to our panelists who've put out their best views, and we leave it, of course, to the viewer and the resident of Bihar to be able to decide. Thank you very much. I'm heading into a very short break, but stay tuned. News and updates continue, and I have an important update coming in with regard to international issues. You're watching To The Point.
Motorola Razr 60, dangerously cool.
એ સાંભળ કર હા આ મારો પપ્પા ફોરેન થી લઈ આવ્યો છે એ સત્યાનાશ भाई नुकसान कैसा भरेगा तू?
स्टॉक मार्केट में भी रिस्क उतना ही लें जितने की कैपेसिटी और रिस्क की जानकारी हो। मार्जिन ट्रेडिंग बहुत सोच समझ कर करें, वरना भारी नुकसान उठाना पड़ सकता है।
अरे वाह दिकरा, एकदम बराबर।
सोच कर, समझ कर, इन्वेस्ट कर।
The flavor bowl, flip it out, they wanna fold. Keeping them coming.
Motorola Razr 60, dangerously cool.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 60, dangerously cool.
Hi, here are the top headlines presented by Motorola. Cabinet approves National Sports Policy and Employment-Linked Incentive Scheme. Rajiv Bindal re-elected as BJP chief in Himachal and Mahendra Bhatt in Uttarakhand. Construction of Janki Temple in Bihar gets approval.
Welcome back. India-US trade talks was to be a huge development in the days to come. However, the deal appears to have hit a deadlock over agriculture, while the government is firm on our dairy industry specifically. This is now about domestic interests versus American interests. India and the United States of America remain locked in a stalemate right now. There are key agriculture demands, with sources in the Indian government telling our sister channel Business Today Television that the deadlock is still not resolved. What does this mean? Now, according to top officials, India has made it absolutely clear that it will not budge on the dairy industry. It's a sector that employs over 800 million people. Many of them are smallholder farmers. So according to our sources and top officials, there is no question of conceding on dairy. That's a red line that the government has said. India is also firm not to compromise on agriculture, especially not at the cost of its rural economy. So then, where do the interests stand? The United States of America aims to enter into a wide range with regard to agroeconomy and automobiles. That's what the US interest has been, while India has made changes, for example, remember in the Harley-Davidson sales. India is seeking duty concessions for a range of labor-intensive sectors: textiles, garments, gems, jewelry, leather goods, plastics, chemicals, and so on and so forth. According to our sources, these concessions do not hurt any domestic interest in the USA and therefore are unlikely to face resistance. Special Secretary Rajesh Agarwal, leading the Indian delegation in Washington, has extended his stay by another day in an attempt to break the impasse. Talks are expected to continue through Wednesday. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar also scheduled to meet his US counterpart Marco Rubio on the sidelines of a diplomatic meeting. But this interim trade agreement is being positioned as a first step toward a broader bilateral trade deal. Aims to avert steep tariff of up to 26%, remember, on Indian exports. It's a deadline that looms with urgency. America is also pushing for a breakthrough before the 9th of July. Listen in to our External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar.
Within a month of the change in administration, we actually have conceptually an agreement that we will do a bilateral trade agreement, that we will find a fix which will work for both of us, because we have our concerns too. And it's not an open-ended process, because that's often the frustration of trade negotiations. You know, we did 4 years of talking in the first Trump administration. You know, they have their view of us, and frankly, we have our view of them. The bottom line is that a deal didn't get done. This time around, we are certainly geared up for a very high degree of, I would say, urgency. I mean, we see a window here. We want to seize that window. You know, so our trade teams are ready to, you know, they're really charged up. This is normally a complaint in the past which used to be made about us, that we were the guys slowing it down. So it's actually today the other way around, and I think that urgency we are trying to really communicate on all three accounts.
Breaking that news for the India Today Network, my colleague Karishma Sudani joining me live from Delhi. Karishma, how much of dairy agriculture industry is going to be a part of whether this trade deal goes through? How? Because time is running out as well. What are you picking up? What are your sources telling you?
Well, Pooja, I think the big question that is currently being debated is the fact that to what extent will India try to protect its farmers at the stake of a tariff loom that is ongoing and is going to kick in anytime soon. India has taken a very clear and a tough stance that it's not going to let its two major sectors be impacted. One is, of course, dairy, and the second one is the rice sector. And besides this, also, there are a lot of other sectors that India's trade minister has keenly mentioned, including that of some organic, genetically produced organic crops, which US has been asking for an access towards the American markets. But India is clear that it has to protect the interest of its local farmers. In return, there are some other kind of concessions that India is willing to make. But India will have to be careful on this, because this is a situation that could be repeated. It was back in 1960s and 1970s that India had also done something similarly with US back then. And the problem was that once things come back on the negotiating table, it is very difficult to go back from what the tariff has been put, especially when there is a change in supply and demand. And as in when production and global supply market changes, you may want to take a call. But looking in mind the kind of metrics we have had and the dialogue and negotiations going on with the US, it's very difficult if we have to go back on the negotiation. So this decision in, say, the next 4 to 5 days is very, very important.
Very crucial. And our team is there on the ground, senior diplomats as well. Joining me, Pranay Upadhyay, editor India Today Global. Pranay, this is where diplomacy, political discourse, reaching out, back channel talks, all of that comes to surface. What are you picking up? What does this mean with regard to India-US relationship?
You pointed out, Pooja, that it's a very complex, negotiation process. You heard External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. India remained committed to conclude this deal, but it's a complex process. You have to decide about the different tariff line. India has different ideas. India has put forth the ideas of reducing the tariff line for over 60% of the products. But there are certain red lines which you also mentioned. Agriculture remains a red line because we have a large agriculture sector, and dairy is also part of it. And we have to factor in that India is the India produces, as far as the global milk production is concerned, 23% of the global milk production comes from India. We are the largest milk producer country. And also for the farmer income in India, dairy is also an important factor and a part of it. When we talk about doubling the farm income, dairy remains it's a factor with which we can achieve that target. So we would recall, Pooja, that in 2022, India pulled out of the RECP, the Regional Economic Cooperation Partnership Agreement, agreement just because of the dairy sector. And US is pushing for the like apples, the tree nuts, and like hay, whisk, and such products. Alfalfa hay. These are the products which US is pushing forward as far as these trade negotiations.
So it will be how India manages to retain its equation with the USA, with Donald Trump, but to ensure our domestic interests are not harmed, especially with regard to farmers in agriculture and dairy. Thank you very much, Pranay Upadhyay and Karishma Sudani, for the latest on that. I have some big news coming in. Pranay, stay on with me on that. The bonhomie over. Donald Trump and Elon Musk appear to be again in a showdown, this time over subsidy. What's happening? Is there a deportation warning to Elon Musk by the US president? Sometimes friends, sometimes foes. We'll take a look when he was asked about whether deportation of Elon Musk will happen. This is amid, remember, a lot of issues that have come in, whether it's regard to the ICE, the deportation that's happening. But it's Elon Musk after all. Trump also said Musk could lose a lot more than an electric vehicle subsidy that would be eliminated if the big bill of tax breaks and spending cuts becomes law. So this is what Donald Trump has said. Amid all of this, what happened was a big, beautiful bill earlier, but it's after Elon Musk saying we need to close up shop, move back to South Africa as the feud between the powerful men is escalating. Listen into Donald Trump.
I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric, maybe a hybrid, maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, So I'm going to give that one to Peter. I'm going to let Peter test it out.
So from standing with the Tesla truck expressing support now to a possible deportation risk, Pranay Upadhyay joins us. Pranay, what is happening here?
Clearly, you can make out these two visuals tell the entire story from White House lawn, having shiny Tesla cars in the backdrop, to the situation where Elon Musk is being targeted by none other than the US President Donald Trump. So once their friendship and partnership, which was termed as bromance, has now turned out to be a fisty fight among these two giants, because one is the corporate leader and richest man on the planet, and between the most powerful politician on earth. So this has become a very fisty fight between these two individuals, but clearly you can make out that something has really gone wrong between these two individuals.
And like it is said, Pranay, in politics there are no permanent friends and foes, not even when it comes to the richest man and the most powerful man, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Thank you very much for now, Pranay Upadhyay, with all the details on that. That's all the time I have for. Thank you so much for watching To The Point. I'm wrapping up for now, but coming up next, Gaurav Sawant takes you to Karnataka. The high command issues, the rejigs, and the show of unity. Is it really happening? Stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
Motorola Razr 60, dangerously cool.
Dangerously cool. Go, stop, go. Playing this game like a tic-tac-toe. Sharp as a razor, the flavor bowl. Flip it out, they wanna fold. Keeping them coming.
Motorola Razr 60, dangerously cool.
Hello, Moto.
Start your day with the India Today app and a shot of Newspresso top news. Only the important bits. Check the latest scoop on what's trending with visual stories. Get entertainment and Gen Z news in a click. Stream India Today and RJD and watch your favorite anchors live. Missed a story? Bookmark and read it at your leisure. Tune into podcasts.
India Today podcast.
For smart takes on top story, download the app now.
Sorry.
है भैया, इस पे बनाए हो क्या कुछ रैप?
हाँ बनाया ना छोटे, ये सुन। ट्रंप ने दिल का राज खोला, पुतिन है मेरा यार बोला, ज़ेलेंस्की को खबरदार बोला, रुकवाऊंगा यूक्रेन वॉर बोला। ट्रंप ने ये बार बोला, लगाऊंगा टैरिफ बेशुमार बोला, मुट्ठी में करूंगा बाजार बोला, मैं हूँ सबका सरदार बोला। इंडिया पाक की रुकवाई वार बोला, एक बार नहीं कई बार बोला, शांति का पैरोकार बोला, चाहिए नोबेल पुरस्कार बोला, मैं हूँ इजराइल का यार बोला, ईरान रहना होशियार बोला, परमाणु का रोको कारोबार बोला, वरना हमले को रहना तैयार बोला। ट्रंप ने दिल का राज खोला, एक बार नहीं कई बार बोला।
है भैया, ट्रंप करवाता वार है, फिर क्यों चाहता शांति पुरस्कार है?
Co-presented by Century Ply Club Prime, रहो बेफिक्र। Co-presented by Hint, बड़े आराम से।
Hello and a very warm welcome. Congress MLA in Karnataka, Iqbal Hussain, has stirred a hornet's nest. He said more than 100 of the 136 MLAs want a change of guard and DK Shivkumar as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. He insists that there was a 2.5-year change of guard agreement, and he claims that Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge were on board this agreement. So he wants that commitment to be honored now. But the Congress top brass appear to have distanced themselves from this claim. Trouble in the ranks in Karnataka. That's our top focus story.
Karnataka power play. No leadership change edict.
This is an organizational exercise that is going on. You asked me whether this is a exercise for any change in leadership. The answer remains no.
Chief Minister Deputy Saath.
I don't want anyone's support. I am not aspiring for the Chief Minister issue now. My aspiration is to only see that Karnataka comes to power in 28.
But rumblings of rift remain. No change of guard in Karnataka. That is our top focus on